Hello, I'm Jared Willits. Welcome to My Thoughts for What They're Worth, episode number 1 of what I intend to be a 4-week run to see if this thing grabs any traction, if people are paying attention or if they like or don't like. And we'll see after 4 weeks whether we'll continue on or just put it in the scrap heap and do something else. But this is episode number 1, and as promised, it is my message to the members of Congress. Yes, the hardworking men and women of Congress. Couple things I think that these folks should know. I think they probably know it already, but I think a friendly reminder is a good idea about the things that American people know about the members of Congress. First off, I think this would be a really good idea to get over yourselves a little bit. I don't think you're nearly as important as you might believe. If you today were out of office for any number of reasons, the chair was empty, you were gone. Well, bad news for you and the family. It's a pretty good gig after all. But realistically speaking, for your district, for your state, for your country, not so much. There will be a line 50 feet deep of people trying to replace you at the governor's office, many of whom might well be more qualified than you to do the job. So I think just getting over yourself a little bit is a good idea, losing the self-importance. I understand that corruption is kind of a business model in D.C., has been for many, many years, and it's kind of hard to get around, but we're going to talk about it. What is corruption? Politically speaking, it is the use of political power for personal gain. There are many subcategories, of course. Haven't got the time to talk about them all. So maybe you, dear Congressman, dear Senator, have never worked out a sweetheart deal for your mother-in-law with a government contract or anything like that. Maybe you've never said thank you to big campaign donors with some friendly legislation that they really kind of like or could use. Maybe you've not done that at all. Maybe you've never accepted gifts and so on and so forth. You haven't. Good for you. But maybe the people sitting next to you have. And maybe it's time you stop looking the other way and call this kind of corruption out when you see it. I know that is a tall order, but it can be done. It's happening a lot. We all know this, right? You know it. And maybe you're not personally involved. Maybe you're one of the good guys, but not everybody is. Call them out. Try that for a little bit different, and maybe things will change. Wasting my breath, perhaps, but I feel good for having said it. Now, next, what I ask you is more annoying than a party line vote right down the middle. Partisan here, partisan there. Why not do a little thinking for yourself instead of reflexively voting or talking about an idea or legislation or a program that fits on one side or the other? How about doing some critical thinking and voting or talking about what might be right, what might be good for the country? Wouldn't that be a change of pace? Okay. And what could be worse than being corrupt or corruption? That would be political hypocrisy. It is rampant in your chambers. Your moral compass just spins and spins and spins. It points in whatever direction the political power is pointing in. Your strongly held beliefs change the instant there's a new party in power. It happens all the time. It is amazingly hypocritical. You know this to be true. We know it to be true, and it's really rather annoying. How about having some really true hard beliefs and working with those and staying the path on those? That would be so refreshing. The hypocrisy is probably the worst offense of any member of Congress. Lastly, one more thing, as Steve Jobs used to say. We know. In the end, when you're voting on legislation, the first thing you think of, will this help my reelection? Because that's the most important thing on your daily, weekly, and monthly life in Congress, and that's reelection. So, okay, it's a good gig. I understand. Anyway, those are my thoughts for what they are worth. I invite your comments.